MLS Aces podcast. This is your host, Tom Sweezy. This is episode 257. And this week we have the trio back again, Vaughn Pollman, Jason Vevang, Tom Sweezy. I'll start with Vaughn because the background's different tonight. Caught my attention, caught Jason and I's attention right away. Vaughn, how are you? And any comment about the new situation going on?
I'm doing great. I'm just trying to hold my stuff together. Between my two teams here, I've got 9 hours of soccer and 1 goal. So
Nice.
I'm just trying to surround myself with fun, happy things.
Good vibes.
So yes, my backdrop. I needed to finally display my scarves, and I thought for the podcast this would be a good way.
You are bringing better vibes than SKC or Charlotte are bringing at all. I can agree with you there. Jason Vevang. Jason, you always bring the good vibes. How are you, man?
Thank you. I try. Sometimes, remember how you used to say, like, I had to get hyped up? Like, I went from, like, pretty chill, and then right when we hit record, it was like...
Yeah. Exactly. That's
still
you.
Works. It still
you're
works.
Like, as soon as the whistle
Flip
blows,
the switch.
you're flipping a switch and you're ready to play a full 90 minutes.
We are ready. We are ready.
You could go 120 if needed. I mean, I've seen it.
For the fire easily.
All right. This is a brand new week, brand new stuff going on. We got second legs of CCL. We got week 3 action. We're going to talk week 4. We've got some more minor moves as we get further into the season. Obviously, less and less moves happen. But we have a lot to talk about, so I want to dive into it. Guys, is there anything last week or of the last week that's happened around soccer you want to talk about? I know that last week we talked about the Open Cup being on Bleacher Report only this year. We talked a little bit about kind of CBS Scolazo and stuff that they're doing over there. I want to give you guys the opportunity to say any comments if you have any comments. If not, we can dive into MLS action. I just want to make sure we get your thoughts out because Sam and I got our thoughts out last week on it.
The Leagues Cup is coming up eventually, and they're starting to market it pretty heavily. So,
bro, everywhere you
get a ton of ads about it.
It's the damn Leagues Cup. I don't know how I feel. I still hate the Leagues Cup. I'll be very honest about that. I am the anti-Andrew Wiebe on this one, but
I think the format is pretty interesting. It's basically like a mini World Cup.
It's a MLS Liga MX World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, it'll be enjoyable to watch. There'll be some interesting games. I will see the Fire get beat pretty badly.
What group are the Fire in?
Dude, you think I memorized their group? They put them all up in just like tiny logos of all of the teams.
So NYCFC's group is NYCFC, it's Toronto, and it's Atlas. There's a good chance NYCFC finishes last and doesn't make it out of the group, but there's a good chance they finish top of this group, depending on how things go with Atlas. And
you can probably say that with most.
Yeah, I think there's a big toss-up. Vaughn, you have any Leagues Cup thoughts?
Well, I know my two teams groups. I got Sporting KC with Chivas and FC Cincinnati.
That's tough.
So that's a tough one. Yeah. and then I've got Charlotte FC with FC Dallas and Necaxa. So we'll see how that shakes out. But in terms of Leagues Cup, it's summer CCL on crack. I'm really excited for it.
That is true. That's a good way to put it.
It's not really that, but it kind of feels a little bit like it.
It's not that because the bottom of Liga MX isn't good. Let's just be real honest about it. You look at the San Luises, you look at the Mazatans of the world, the FC Juarez's of the world. They're not like MLS teams could beat them on a regular basis. You obviously look at the teams that we've seen in CCL, I think in a Chivas, in a Tigres, in a Pachuca, in a Monterrey. Those are the crop of the cream of the crop, whatever. And I think that's why in CCL it's dominant, and it's been such a struggle for us to win because of how good the top of Liga MX is. I'm not saying that the bottom of these clubs don't have good talent. They do, but I think they're way more beatable, and that's why this tournament is less exciting than CCL.
But Juarez or Mazatlan, I think is on the same level as a Violet or a Taro that we've seen in the past.
You think
I think
a top Haitian club is as good as like a bottom Liga MX club?
No, I'm saying that the Mexican club is as good as the Honduran top club. So like the competition is going to be to a good level, and I think it's going to be this exciting thing that we're going to get behind. We're going to be rooting for all the MLS teams to come out ahead. It's going to be like rooting for one league versus the other. It's going to be this silly tournament style, and we're going to fall in love with it. Like as crazy as it is, as stupid as it is, as much as it's disrupting the schedule, I think we are going to be absolutely geeking out and loving it. To me, it's going to be like the MLS's back tournament, international style, which I love.
I think there's positive aspects, right? I don't want to shit on the entire tournament. Obviously, there's rivalries. There's more MLS games. You get to see MLS teams compared on a global scale, or global scale to an extent, right, against the top rival in the region. You get to see what the bottom of MLS compares to let's just say the bottom of Liga MX and all the way up. So we get to see that scale now. That's cool. I just think it's a money grab. If you made Leagues Cup, like you incorporated more of CONCACAF to improve the region altogether, and you made Leagues Cup almost like a Europa League, I'm for it. But I just think this is more MLS versus Liga MX. I understand people love it. I understand people tune in when it happens. I just don't understand. I get to a point though of how many times are these two leagues going to go head to head before it's just so watered down and no one gives a shit anymore, and it's not the same rivalry as it once was when you played once, twice, 4 times a year, whatever it may be. That's my only take. Is
also, like, to that point, you might have towards the end of Leagues Cup similar matchups that we've already seen in CCL that same season.
Yeah,
right, like it could be. So, I mean, I guess that kind of waters it down a bit. But I'm still excited. I want to see the Fire play Puebla. I looked it up. It's Puebla and Minnesota United. So.
You guys could come out the top of that group.
Yeah, which would be incredible.
Let's go.
You think I don't need something to cheer about? I would be happy to.
Chicago Fire win 2023 Leagues Cup. Jason is not letting us live it down. That's what's happening.
I mean, as a trophy.
Yeah, it's an international trophy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hasn't Chicago made like 5 U.S. Open Cup semifinals?
Yeah, they have a lot. But they also were incredible when they first started.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like the summer, they're gonna get their juices going. The Fire are gonna be cooking.
The last meaningful U.S. Open Cup game that I watched the Fire in was when was it Mitch Hildebrandt just stood on his head and made like 40 saves.
Yeah, bro.
For Cincinnati before they were an MLS team.
Cincinnati.
Great game though. It was a good game.
That was the last time Cincinnati had excitement before 2023. Let's skip forward in USMNT news. You guys have anything you want to say about Gio Reyna, Greg Berhalter, that whole situation? It's more of a continuation of the Reyna suck, in my opinion. And
I'm ready for it to be over with.
Yeah,
so tired of it.
We have made it as a footballing nation.
Yeah,
like what this is. We have a total melodrama on our hands. We've got, parents of the players, former U.S. men's national team guys, blackmail and extortion, trying to get guys out of their positions.
Yep.
It's going to get turned into a really bad B-list movie one time. So yeah,
I'd watch it.
Yeah, we would watch it, but it's pretty rough right now. It's a little bit of a distraction from other stuff that's going on. So I like all of that, but I think at this point, Berhalter, the Reynas, they're so soured in the public eye. Like how can they continue professionally? I think they're going to get blacklisted.
All I'm hearing is it's a distraction. It's messy right now. This is Leagues Cup. This is all this. It's the distraction from MLS play. It's messy.
You said let's move on, and then chose not to. You're the only
one who
don't know
what it is. I mean that's pretty much it. But I mean, look, Vaughn, we've talked about this in the off season. I've had episodes covering it in the off season. We've talked about it a little bit now. I'm not going to hash it. The Reynas are not turning out to be good people. I think Berhalter's done, and we'll see what happens with Gio and the national team. Time will tell. Let's move forward. Speaking of the U.S. men's national team, we got Alejandro Zendejas. That's cool. That's fun. We got the Club America winger. So, expect him to come to MLS soon. I'm assuming, probably. I can see that move happening. game. But I liked him during the January camp window. I thought he was one of the better players because he was one of the more informed players. But any takes on Zendejas are just cool. We got another dual national. Cool. We got another dual national.
Yeah.
I mean,
more competition is always a good thing in my eyes. So
he's a good player for sure. The last news and note that I want to throw out there is congratulations to the Seattle Sounders. They got a guaranteed spot in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup because I think all the teams that made it this past year automatically get a spot in 2025 when it expands. So that's fun. That's cool. Seattle. I think I saw the joke already on Twitter, and I apologize. I don't know who it was from. Honestly, it might have been from the Seattle Sounders account. They're the first team to make the Club World Cup. The first MLS team to make the Club World Cup twice. So good for them, qualifying twice. And
make it twice.
Yeah, exactly. They qualified twice. That's better than any of our teams can say they've done.
Back to back.
Yeah, back to back
Club World Cup appearances.
Love it. All right, let's move forward. Let's talk about Major League Soccer. I thought that my mic was my water bottle for a second. It's not. It's a night. So some roster moves. Like I said, there's been a few going on. I quickly just want to mention TFC. They acquire left back Christian Gutierrez off waivers from the Vancouver Whitecaps. Gutierrez was falling back in that depth chart at the left back spot. TFC need fullback help. I like the move. I like Christian Gutierrez. He gets forward. He's a pretty good player. Also didn't realize he was a Canadian international. That's pretty cool. I thought he was like Argentine, but he might have been born in Argentina. But just my fun Christian Gutierrez interest for you guys right there. But the move I want to spend a little bit more time talking about is the Portland Timbers. They signed striker Frank Boli from the Hungarian top division. Vaughn, you said the club before. I am not even going to attempt it. If you want to go for it, you can go for it. But
no, let's let it ride.
Okay. We're going to let it ride there. 29-year-old striker. He has been capped by the Ivory Coast. Three-time Hungarian first division winner, one-time Hungarian Cup winner. He's been the Norwegian Golden Boot winner before. He's scored a ton of goals in his career. He's a veteran of the game. And I mean, I like the profile. We've seen players come from kind of Norway, Sweden, Hungary, come to Major League Soccer, score a ton, and the Portland Timbers need striker goal scoring help because Felipe Mora is still out injured. Yaroslav Niashgoda isn't a DP level striker, and they don't really have anyone else. I like the move. I think it's a good fit. It's a good profile. We'll see if it works. You guys have any takes on Boli heading to Portland?
I'm looking forward to seeing the connection between him and Evander, right? Like the whole story about Evander coming in is building around him. And everybody can see right now the disconnect in that club and that there's the pieces around Evander aren't working yet. And so I think them bringing in a new striker that has this sort of goal scoring pedigree, getting to see how their partnership on the field blossoms, I think is going to be something very fun to watch because that is going to be the foundation of their attack moving forward and who they end up bringing in to support those two. So in that regards, I think it's a really exciting signing and a good addition to the league.
I'll just say this here because I don't think we're going to be talking much Portland Timbers on this episode outside of this, so we'll give the Timbers some love here. I do feel bad for the squad because I think they have the most players on their injury report right now. I think it's 6 players. A lot of those starters in a Sebastian Blanco, a Jimmy Chara, Felipe Mora, Dairon Asprilla, guys like that, right? So Evander, I said it last week on the episode with Sam as well. He's looked very frustrated through 3 games in Major League Soccer. I don't personally like that mentality, 3 games into a new league. You know, I understand you're a club record signing. You have this big personality. You want to be a star, whatever it may be. But you can't, like, get frustrated at your teammates 3 games in, especially with a majority of your starting teammates either out injured or they're not playing 100%, because I know Claudio Bravo and Ivicic, I know they're kind of at 50%, but they're still on the roster, still on the 18, whatever it may be. So I don't really like what I'm seeing from Evander early, but it's still early, so I'm not going to judge the guy completely.
Didn't he also come off because they were worried about injury with him?
I think he came off injured, and then he didn't start this past weekend, and then
he didn't come. He didn't come on till the 12th minute, and then he came off. When did he come off?
Because Christian Paredes. Yeah, Paredes got hurt, so Evander came on.
So he came in, and then they didn't want to risk injuries, so they took him off because apparently he had something midweek or something.
Gio Savarese is seeing ghosts out there. He's seeing ghosts of just players in boots and
He's like, thank God they made me allowed to have more subs.
Yeah. Soon Gio Savarese is playing 7 in the back. I mean, like at this point, midfielders are going down left and right. I do feel bad for Portland Timbers and Portland Timbers fans because, it's not good at this point with as far as having a fully loaded lineup at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move forward. Let's, I guess, continue to talk about week 3 action. And I want to start with Atlanta United. Sorry, Vaughn, we're going to do it because I wanted to talk last week about the loss to St. Louis because it wasn't a bad loss. This was a bad loss, though. So we could start from the Charlotte FC point of view. We can start from the Atlanta point of view. But I'm going to go with Atlanta first because I think it was a really good win. Caleb Wiley is a guy who we saw kind of come onto the scene last year with Atlanta United. Was he a left back? Was he a left winger? He played a little bit of both last year, and he kind of seemed like almost the next George Bello for Atlanta United. He comes into this game. He's been starting at left wing over Derek Etienne Jr., who they brought in via free agency, and he scored a brace in this one. He also got, Luis Araju on the other side to score a goal, which is not something we commonly see, whether it's in a month in a season for Araju. Atlanta United, they're looking good, and I have to say, when you look at the underlying numbers, when you even just screw the numbers, you're just looking at the tape. Thiago Almada is in the center of all of it. He is distributing, he's hitting key passes, he's hitting the pass before the assist, he's doing it all. And I think he is the key to Atlanta United being, contenders in the Eastern Conference at the end of the day, setting up guys like a Wiley who's going to hit a brace in this game, a Raju to be top of the line, Giamakis up top, whatever it may be. Jason, I'll start with you because I want to give Vaughn his time to talk about Charlotte. So any Atlanta United, I guess, thoughts on this game?
I mean, they seem to be clicking, and I think some of the issues from last season are starting to kind of fade away. With Miles Robinson back, I feel like their defense is much improved. They've honestly been kind of fun to watch. I know a lot of people just do not like Atlanta, but
yes,
they're this is their best start now through club history, point wise.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's what I'm fairly certain.
That's
they have 6 goals. They've only conceded 2. They're a team that is scary when they're running at you. And I think with Almada, like you said, he's just always a threat, whether he's hitting a banger like we've already seen or he's setting people up. It doesn't really matter. If he has the ball, you're going to have people on him immediately. Yeah. And it's probably more than one person. It might be 2, might be 3. And that just leaves more space open for guys like Wiley and Arajo to step up and start banging in goals. And that's what they're doing. And the longer they can do this, the better. I mean, is it super sustainable? I don't know. I think Almada is really playing well, and he's going to have to continue to do so. But currently, I think this is a fun team to watch.
I mean, I think you're seeing some World Cup energy, some World Cup form, some confidence. World Cup excitement, confidence, whatever words you want to say. I think you're seeing that out of Thiago Almada and this Atlanta United squad. Vaughn, I'll let you, if you want to say anything about Atlanta, go for it. But I want to hear what's broken with Charlotte FC.
Well, it's kind of the opposite for the two teams, right? It's mentality. Atlanta came out with the right mentality and a tactical plan that was executed to perfection. They understood that when they turned the ball over, when they pressured Charlotte, that when they had those transition moments, they understood the tilt of the field and the need to switch the play and switch the point of attack. Caleb Wiley's 2 goals were great. It was clinical, but they also could have been scored by Kevin Cabral. Like that's how wide open it was. Charlotte FC right now mentally is getting outworked. These 2 goals conceded at the beginning of the game in the first 12 minutes. That is in a home game against your rival, where you should be the one imposing style. And it's also, once again, 2 weeks in a row where individual errors gave the game away. To me, Brant Bronico should be able to make a 5-yard pass to Kamil Jóźwiak that led to the first opening goal. The second goal that came off of a throw-in was right after Ottoson Malanda absolutely cooked a ball right out of bounds that could have gone to Karol Swiderski in acres of space, and it handed possession over, and the entire team didn't recover defensively. It's simple stuff, and so that's the promising thing, is that it's correctable. But right now, Christian Lattanzio has made some really questionable calls. I've been talking to a lot of other people in the fan base and having conversations about how the concern is not only playing guys out of their natural positions. In my opinion, he's playing guys in their like third best position. Like Karol Swiderski, if he's not a number 9, like if you're not going to play him as a forward, then he's a central attacking mid, where he was successful at the end of last season. Playing him over on the wing is his third best role. Brant Bronico playing at left back. Yeah. He's a 6 or an 8. Why are you playing him at left back? You've got Kamil Jóźwiak. Shinya Shiki at the 10. He is a winger either on the left or the right, or he's a second striker in a 2-striker formation. Yeah. Why is he playing as a center attacking mid? I do not know. I think that you've got Ashley Westwood, who's playing as a number 8. To me, he's a number 6. I would love to see him play in a regista role like a Michael Bradley in this league. I think that he could really excel in that sort of function. It just guy after guy after guy is not being set up to succeed. And if the system and the style was leading to chances, it'd be a different conversation. But right now, Charlotte is leading the league in crosses, and they're empty crosses. They're not dangerous. They're not threatening. Balls aren't getting into the box in a good way. And so we're becoming predictable and easy to play against. And so the team has to figure some things out real fast, or this hole is going to get super deep, and year 2 is going to be in the bins.
So I was a guest on the Queen City Soccer Show after the Charlotte FC lost to St. Louis, and shout out Cole. It was a great time being on there. Everything like that. Seriously mean that. But the main thing that I took away from that, especially when I kind of rewatched the Charlotte FC St. Louis game, and I'm seeing the same things, like you said against Atlanta United, is, to me, it's the formation, and it's the playing guys out of formation. It's either you have to switch up the formation, Lattanzio, and you have to kind of give up this idea of playing style that you have and switch to the guys that you do have, or you have to play guys in the right spots. Like Shinya Shiki at the 10, like it irritates the shit out of me looking at it. Bronico, maybe because you have left back concerns, like you're forcing him there, and I get it, and I guess that's fine, whatever. Karol Swiderski, you have him as a winger. He's not a winger. He's clearly shown that. You see what he can do at a high level in Major League Soccer. Why are you forcing him out on a wing? If I'm Lattanzio, I'm playing with 2 strikers up top. I'm playing with Swiderski and Capetti with 2 up there. Maybe that makes Jóźwiak a bench option. Maybe you can make him as a starter behind two strikers. I don't know, but me, like, if I'm Lattanzio, I'm switching up all of this stuff. I'm playing with my 2 best goal scorers up top. I feel like they would complement each other fantastic up top too, if you ask me. Or you just push Swiderski back into the 10. Like the decisions that Lattanzio and I guess coaching staff and whatever are making to how they're playing with this team make zero sense to me, and I feel like that's what's leading to miscues, misplays, giving away games. Literally, the St. Louis game was given away, and like you said, definitely misplayed passes in this game as well. Like Adelson Malanda, like you mentioned it before, making a mistake in this game. I think I said this last week, and I know Matt Doyle said this. You don't see many super young center backs globally getting minutes because young center backs tend to make mistakes. If you're going to force Malanda into this lineup, and you should, because he is a very talented player, you're going to have to kind of overcompensate and expect mistakes out of him. And like, that's fine, but you can't also give away the game in other aspects. If you're going to give away the game or accept there's going to be mistakes from a young center back, or maybe an inexperienced center back pairing, or whatever it may be, then you can also give away the game and play guys out of position and not help yourself score on the other end or succeed on the other end. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, and he's also building his partnership with Tuiloma. And actually, I don't think that Malanda and Tuiloma have been all that terrible. I think that the transition play from turnovers and how easily the team's been beat is where we've really struggled early in the season here. And that mentality is, I feel like guys aren't playing, the word I've used is uninhibited, right? These guys are playing in their heads. If they're playing out of position, they're not comfortable in their movements. They're not comfortable where their teammates are. They're missing simple passes. The rhythm is off. It's out of sync. And so it's correctable. Like, that's stuff that I think the team can do with this group of players. Like, I still have a lot of faith and belief in these players because I've seen them be a pretty good team at the tail end of the season, and I think they've added to it. But you were talking about Evander and his on-field demeanor. Enzo Capetti is having the same challenge right now, and he's not getting service and connecting with the team the way he probably would like to. And so I think right now they need to score some goals. They need to have some fun. They need to have this pressure release valve come off. You know, I think that they're still recovering a little bit mentally from missing Anton Walks. I think that that's something that's still in the back of these players' heads and absolutely part of the psyche. Every single one of these games, you know, you're going out there, you're wearing the armband. You've got both teams coming out in warm-up jerseys that have Anton Walks. They're acknowledging him in tifos, and I think that there's going to come a time where this team needs to be able to focus on the soccer side of it, where yes, play in his honor, but I think right now the team's not playing loose. They're not playing free. Remember, they also lost a week of preseason because of everything that was going on. So I think that right now we were hoping that was going to be a galvanizing thing. And right now, I think we underestimated in our fan base here how the team would respond. And right now, things are looking a little dire, and there's some legitimate concerns of the team turning it around. And I really hope that in a couple weeks here, I can talk a little bit differently about the club.
Jason, do you have any Charlotte FC thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just specifically to what you're talking about, it's like just right on the surface level when you watch, like, I think it's the second Wiley goal where Atlanta wins the ball in, I believe, the attacking half, and Charlotte is just completely disjointed. Like, there, I think, 5 players on the ball, and Wiley's just on the other side of the field. And I don't know if it's a communication issue and they're just not talking out there. And obviously being played out of position, like Vaughn was saying, you know, you don't necessarily know exactly where your teammates are maybe at all times, and that could be part of the issue. But I think part of it is just getting a shape and holding to a shape that they want, which is something that it feels like they're not doing, and that is causing, especially in those transition moments where things switch really fast and you have to be able to react quickly, especially with a team like Atlanta who just immediately went on attack in that game. And there wasn't time for Charlotte to react to it. And that's why Wiley was putting in the easiest goals ever, pretty much.
Yeah. And that's my scare, like, just being in general, like talking generally about the fan base is like, it's so damaging to the growth for the casual fans. Like, what I'm looking forward to is, like, we need to be scoring goals and getting results at home again, just to keep the new fans in this market engaged with the team. And the energy after this game, the way the game played out, the way that they didn't look dangerous at all, really. They looked out of the game from the jump.
Like 12 minutes in, right? 2-0 down.
Yeah. And so if that's a continuing trend, it's going to be really an uphill climb to get where we want to be.
My only thing I want to say left by Charlotte is get Ben Bender more minutes, because I mean, I know tactically he's like, I feel like he's an anomaly in the Charlotte FC like lineup. Is he a winger? Is he a 10? Like, where is he going to play? But I don't know. When that dude was on the field last year, like in his rookie year out of college, he was creating things. He was doing things. He was doing things in the attacking half. I understand defensively, or kind of he gave up the ball a little too easy at his feet. I just want to see Ben Bender play soccer. That's my last opinion of Charlotte FC. And the last thing that I want to say is this Violette AC goalkeeper is standing on his head, man. This dude is having a day. 38 minutes in, Austin still haven't scored a goal in the second leg, and we'll talk about CCL in a little bit. But let's move on to FC Cincinnati. This was my pick last week for the game of the weekend, with Cincinnati hosting Seattle. Huge matchup. Huge wins for Cincinnati, 1-0 over the visiting Seattle Sounders. Red card to Nick Haglund in the 83rd minute. You know, maybe that allowed for that late goal that Yeimar scored to be, you know, a potential goal at one point. It was called off later on by VAR. But Cincinnati, I mean, stepping up to the big dogs in Major League Soccer. I mean, yes, it's at home. Yes, you have that boost, and Seattle had to travel cross country, but they put in a good performance. Brenner's with the goal. Obi Nobuodo, I think, is the real deal. One of the best. I think you could probably argue the best 6 in Major League Soccer to some extent. You guys have any thoughts on what Cincinnati's done early on this season or in this matchup against Seattle?
I mean, I feel like they're not even at their best yet. Like, to me, it seems like this is early season. They're getting off running. They've finished some chances so far, obviously. I mean, this is a big win for them. 3 goals for, 1 goal against so far, which is not amazing, but, you know, they're getting the results, and that's what you have to do, especially, I mean, like you said, this is Seattle coming in. It seems like Cincinnati is going to be a tough place to play in for anyone, obviously. Yeah. And they handle business, and that's what you have to do if you want to be at the top of the league, and that's what they did. So, I mean, it's a lot of creating and finishing, and their finishing has been good. I think they just have to keep working at, you know, building in the attack and creating tons of chances, because they're going to score tons of goals if they do.
I mean, fair. We'll see what Cincinnati did at the end of 2022, continuing into 2023. And I feel like that's where Cincy fans are kind of hoping this attack gets to. Vaughn, any Cincinnati or Seattle takes?
Well, I think that's the big thing for Cincinnati is that there's defense to this squad. Like, Nwobodo is a legit number 6. Miazga on the back line is really locking things down. Like, that they're through 3 games and have conceded 1 goal. I mean, this is a club that was conceding, you know, at the start of their existence, you know, getting all their wooden spoons. They were conceding 70 goals a year. So this is not what we've seen from Cincinnati. Even last year, they were scoring a ton of goals, but they had stretches where they were conceding in droves. And so if Cincinnati can have this high-powered attack that is balanced with a really solid and shored up defense, then yeah, they're going to be in that top of the conference, maybe supporter shield conversation, deep run in the playoffs. This is why a lot of people are high on them, because the pieces are there. And getting a marquee win early in the season against a club like Seattle, who has looked like the best team in the league the first 2 weeks, it is a statement win. And I would not be shocked to see these 2 teams squaring off again in, you know, deep in the playoffs.
And look, I mean, you mentioned Miazga, Nwobodo. I think Yerson Mosquera, their loanee center back from Wolves, has looked pretty good. I think adjusting to the league through 3 weeks. Junior Moreno, he just got another call up to Venezuela. I don't know the last time we heard Junior Moreno getting any love won or any type of international recognition too. So congratulations to him. I think at this point for me, my only concern with Cincinnati is, you know, kind of getting Brenner, Vasquez, and Lucho on the same page again, back to where they were at the end of last year. But you know, well, it's only week 3, so we'll take it slow. The last thing that I just want to say, or the only really thing I want to say about Seattle in this matchup, it wasn't a bad Seattle performance, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it was anything bad. Joao Paulo, though, him back in the Seattle lineup, I feel like we said it every single week so far. It's just a different Seattle team. Like, he does so much playing that like 6, but he's not like that defensive 6. I don't know. He plays such a unique but great role in this midfield, and I love this entire lineup with him in it, because it's completely different from 2022 Seattle, because he makes that team that much better. He makes that floor just that much better. So I love Joao Paulo, and I'm glad to see him back in a Seattle Sounders uniform. And obviously they didn't get the win here, but they're still easily one of the best teams in the league. Let's turn to my guys, and I want to just take this very quickly with NYCFC. I don't want to take up too much time here. And if you guys have anything you want to say, interrupt me, because I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. But NYCFC, they finally get the attack clicking a little bit. They get their first win at home, only game at home so far this season. 1-0 win over a hot Inter Miami side. You know, it wasn't, you know, that it was a Talis Magno goal and I have all this pressure relieved off my shoulders that the attack is there, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't that. It was an own goal. But I said this on Twitter, and I'll say this here as well. The runs and the patterns of play that NYCFC created for a majority of that game leading up to that set piece own goal from Chris McVie, like that's what created the own goal. Like NYCFC, they had so many runners in the box, so many attackers in the box, and they were getting so many opportunities that, it was one of those things that just bounces off a defender into the back of the box. So obviously, yes, it was still an own goal. I'm not saying NYCFC created an own goal, but you saw the patterns of play. You saw what Nick Cushing is trying to get and what this offense is trying to do time after time with the ball at their feet. And that is what led to, an opportunity for an own goal to be scored on that set piece. The thing that I have to say is James Sands and Santi Rodriguez completely changes this roster, right? The biggest thing that I said leading into the season, and you guys said it as well when we did the preseason show, was this team had a lack of a 10 and a lack of a 6. Where's the creation? And there's just no midfield depth. There's no bite in that midfield. Can Alfredo Morales or Justin Hack and Keaton Parks do it? Sure, but there's no depth behind that. There's no major talent there. James Sands is an absolute safety valve, I think, for this team. He allows them to have a little bit of bite. He allows them to also kind of drop back into a back three when necessary, allowing those fullbacks to get up the field, like an Olenich, who we've seen fill in for Tavon Gray for the past 2 weeks. So what James Sands brings to this team offensively and defensively is great. He breaks up passes, he breaks up balls in the air, and you see the growth from him now compared to before he left for Rangers, 100%. And then he also allows Keaton Parks to kind of not play as a 6 anymore. He allows Keaton Parks to play as an 8. Parks had 2 shots on net in this game that Drake Callender just made amazing saves at. Like, that's back of the net, like if it's any other goalkeeper on any other day type of deal. So I really like what Sands and Santi are bringing so far through kind of, a game and a half that they've really played. And I'm excited that NYCFC maybe isn't going to be as much of a shit show as I thought they were going to be in the beginning of the season. That was a lot of talking. Do you guys have anything you want to say about City or Inter Miami before we move on? Whew. That was a lot there.
It was critical them getting those guys, getting Sands and Santi. I think that they're going to be able to hold on, to salvage something from the season. This was the first win that kind of sets that tone for them. But you can see the NYCFC of old is still there. As much as they've lost, they still have a really strong group, and a team that can be dangerous on their day. So yeah, there's reason for optimism, more so than I think a lot of people, at least maybe us. We were all pretty down on them in preseason.
16.
Yeah, Jason, you did have them the highest. You're right. You had them in
That's true. But it's like that, we were saying, they're going to need to tap into their network. They're going to have to go down. Yeah. Who are they going to find to bring in? And they didn't do that, right? They
did. They got Santi and James Sands, who they're known commodities, I guess.
Yeah, they're known commodities, and within the network, like, they already were NYCFC guys. Yeah. So yeah, there's something there for NYCFC that now if they can supplement on top of that, they could be dangerous.
I will just finish up by saying Kufre, our new left back, and I don't think it's how you say it, but that's what I've been hearing on Apple TV. So him at left back, and then Olenich, our new 18-year-old right back. I honestly think if these guys can get adjusted to the league quickly, they could be like what Ronald Natarita and Anton Tennerholm were at fullback for NYCFC. Like there's very good talent on both of those sides. So I like them a lot. Olenich, I don't think he's in Major League Soccer long either. If you just go and watch NYCFC game, focus on the right back because this kid's talented as hell. A team that's very talented and a team that won big this past weekend is LAFC, our reigning 2021 MLS Cup champions. They just dominated the formerly unbeaten New England Revolution. Dennis Bouanga, who is easily the MVP frontrunner at this point. 2 goals and an assist in this game. Timothy Tillman, I think this might have been his first MLS action for LAFC. He was easily the next best player up. He was impacting the game. He drew a PK. I think he had a goal for himself. And then Jose Cifuentes, 2 assists off the bench. This is a rotated LAFC team as well that beat up on New England 4-0 because of CCL action. So, Jason, I'll start with you. LAFC, I mean, like, I don't think there's any issues at this point.
I mean,
for this team.
They had a 7-0 week, like basically, which is insane. And I want to just hammer the fact that this was a somewhat rotated LAFC team, and it just, I think we said at the beginning of the season too, this is a really good team that got better by adding good depth pieces. And Timothy Gilman is a great player, obviously. I mean, he played very well. He's someone that's worth talking about. But I think the biggest snapshot of this week specifically is this team can go. They do have the power and the ability to rotate their squad to go pretty far in multiple competitions. And I feel like that is one of the main points we talk about a lot with CCL teams is, it's early season, is how are they going to, manage these two competitions at the same time? It's not easy. I mean, we've seen Austin. We're seeing them right now. They're not doing it that well. No. In LAFC, it seems so easy, and that is terrifying. But, yeah, I mean, the ability to just have that depth, have that rotation, and still dominate teams, especially, I mean, New England's a good team. In 4-0, I wouldn't have predicted that. So, I mean, it's just incredible.
I mean, that's the point that I want to quickly just say is it's not like LAFC hosted New England and it was a 1-0 win and it was like a good, tough win against an undefeated team. This is a major beat up on a rotated roster of a team that was formerly undefeated. Again, we're 3 weeks in.
Team that's currently in the playoff spot.
Exactly. So,
I mean, we're early, but yeah.
No, 100%. It's still early, but New England's looked pretty decent for the first 2 match days up until this point. Vaughn, I mean, LAFC, I feel like you have to think that they are in a good spot to win a trophy in 2023. I don't know which trophy, but a trophy.
At least one. I mean, that's the thing. Right now, that's where LAFC are setting the black and gold standard for the league. Because you look at them, they win supporter shields, they win MLS Cups, they make deep runs in tournaments. They're competitive. We talked about in the preseason episode about how it's so hard to repeat win in this league, and LAFC has come flying out of the gates again. Like, how many teams can lose a Christian Arango and not skip a beat?
And maybe look better.
Yeah, Gareth Bale gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Latif Blessing gone. Whatever.
Yeah. They just signed a dude from the two.
They just have next man up mentality and a culture of winning that is really good for this league. And I think that they are pushing that envelope. We've seen other dominant teams. We've seen what Seattle's done over a long period of time. We've seen the old LA Galaxy teams. We've seen the windows of TFC just absolutely being so strong in this league. LAFC, I think, is pushing the envelope of taking it to another level because they're currently built in a way where they can win multiple doubles, maybe get some trebles, and be doing it in bigger and bigger competitions. I think they're just structured really well. They have a lot of really smart people doing really smart things. And this game and the way that they're able to take it to teams on their day, it's scary.
LAFC, after they won their 2 supporter shields, or the first supporter shield, they made, and the front office made a note. You heard it from Carlos Vela. You heard it from a lot of the guys who've been around that locker room and saying, we won a supporter shield. Great. Our eyes on MLS Cup. They go and they win the double last year with supporter shield and MLS Cup. After that, the front office specifically said this offseason, our eyes are on CCL. We want to go global. We want to win global. And, they've started off strong in doing that this year, and they're also keeping up that play in Major League Soccer as well. And again, Vaughn, like you said, that's not something we regularly see is this domination, continued domination. And we have to see if LAFC keep it up. I guess a 2-year span, 3-year span. I don't know if I'd say we'll get into dynasty talk, right? But we'll see if LAFC keep it up. Another great win, another big win. Bouanga is an absolute menace, and if he's gonna have 100 goals in all competitions at the end of the season, and especially with Leagues Cup now, and that's gonna be that. Let's move on to a team who none of us thought were going to be dominating. And Vaughn, you are not happy about this one. St. Louis City SC, sorry. They continue their winning ways and come back from another 1-0 deficit. This time they beat the Portland Timbers 2-1. My only real takeaway is that every single time I sit down to watch St. Louis, because I do my rewatches of all the games, after the weekend, is Joao Klaus. If he's not, well, again, first of all, he's the most unathletic athlete I've ever seen. But if he's not scoring goals, he is taking up so much attention from opposing teams' defenders that he's either given a flick, a back heel, or he's just opening up space, like we said with like Jason said with Almada and Atlanta United. He's opening so much space for for someone else to just score, or to someone else to get an opportunity to score. So Joao Klaus, yes, maybe he's not that 20 goal scorer 9, but he's impacting every single St. Louis game that I've seen so far. Vaughn, I'll start with you because you hate this team so much. What are they doing right that you hate?
Well, right now what they're doing is they're playing together as a team. Their buy-in to the system and the style it's crystal clear. I mean, they are a high energy, press and create their own luck sort of team. We talk about teams needing to hit on their designated players. They have done that with Joao Klaus and Edward Leuven. Mm-hmm. He's fantastic. Leuven, I like a lot. His service on set pieces is real good. And what they're getting is they're getting contributions not only from those guys. You've got goals already this season from Tim Parker and Hebert. Like, you're getting backline goals. And so right now they have that magic spark, and it's happening. They're getting comeback wins, right? So that mentality, that fight, that grit, that never give up and just stick with the game plan where it's going to work. That they believe in, it's working. So as much as I said I don't want to see them succeed, but and to get the wooden spoon, that's a bit of a joke. I want these markets that are new to the league to have success. I want St. Louis, I want Charlotte, I want FC Cincinnati. I want these clubs to have that. Exactly. I want those markets to grow the game in those regions. And for St. Louis, soccer is obviously a big part of their history and their culture. And so seeing them jump out of the gates like this and start to set records, I mean, this week they could become the first expansion team to win their first 4 games. Good for them. Right now, they're putting in the work, they're putting in the effort. They are showing out. And do I believe that it's sustainable? Do I think they've gotten some luck on their side?
A little.
I think they've gotten a little bit of luck. But right now you can carry luck a long way, and they've started picture perfect for what they needed.
Part of that luck too, though, is their fight is putting themselves in positions to pounce on other teams' mistakes. Obviously, there's been some big mistakes, but they're putting themselves in the right places to capitalize on their chances when they get them. Are they the most talented team in MLS? No, but they're working hard, and they're working hard at forcing the other team, eventually knowing that they will make a mistake, and then they can take advantage of that mistake, and they are currently.
Well, and I think as teams get more clinical, like as the season goes on and teams are more in sync, it's going to be harder for them to do that.
That goes to what you're saying about sustainability.
Them playing that energy drink soccer in July in the Midwest, like good luck to you. I think that there's going to be some games where it gets ugly, but right now, ride the wave. I mean, they're doing everything right.
I think right now, get the points and get the wins that you can, right? Because we said it week 1. Early season wins count just as much as late season wins when you need the points down the stretch. So get the points where you can, even if it's luck, if it's hard work that's leading to luck, whatever it may be.
And road results against good teams. Road results against good teams.
100%, 100% against Portland. You get the win against Charlotte at home. I do think, again, I don't think I'm not going to sit here and say I think Charlotte's a bad team. I think they've had bad results, but I don't think they're an awful team. You pick up very good wins early on to start the season. Sam, Nelson, and I last episode, we kind of took a deep dive in on St. Louis and our thoughts around expansion cities, and Vaughn, kind of to expand a little bit more on what you were saying about expansion cities to Major League Soccer wanting that success, and maybe kind of comparing that to some of the OG older clubs in Major League Soccer. So if I'm not going to dive into it deep on that now, go back and listen to last week's episode if you want to hear that. I actually thought that was maybe the best little 5-minute segment of conversation of last week's episode. So I really did enjoy that. So go back and listen to that. My only other St. Louis thing I want to kind of throw in on the take is, one time in high school when I was working at my local deli, I served Tim Parker's dad some, I think it was salami. I want to say I think he got like a quarter pound of salami that day. So that's my only St. Louis City take, or that I have right there. But
that is the most New York, New Jersey thing I've ever heard from you, Tom.
What? I worked at a deli.
When I used to work at the deli.
Slicing meat.
I was slicing the meat. He ordered a quarter pound of salami, Genoa. It was Genoa salami. And,
Philly scored, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. That's some, Jason, I like it. You're bringing the conversation back to soccer.
Usually
wow.
I'm not that one.
I know usually you're not that dude, but you're that dude right now.
I had it on my mind. I'm like, I should say that Philly scored.
I'm gonna skip over the last thing we have in our notes, because I want to give more conversation to CCL than Colorado and SKC sucking 0 goals, 0 wins. Sorry, Vaughn, but it's not good when you can't score through 3 games. And that goes for
3 games
Colorado.
and 58 shots. Yeah,
there you go. And William Yarborough had an 11 save shutout in the middle of that too, to keep you guys at a point, or keep Colorado at a point too. So let's move forward, talk CCL, because I would say overall the first legs for MLS teams went pretty successful, except for an Austin FC, and Sam and I talked about that a little bit last week. But Austin FC down 3-0 after the first leg to Violette AC, the Haitian club. It was an ugly first leg, and the game's live right now, so apologies listeners and watchers that we can't give the full reaction, or we don't know what's going to happen. It's 0-0 at the half in the second leg. It does not look like Austin is going to do the damn thing. Gerisi's had a ton of shots. Zardis has had a ton of shots from the little that I can see right here. But
they had a goal called back.
They did have a goal called back. I think, honestly, I think I said it before. The Haitian keeper, he's having a great game. I think I said this last week, and I want to hear you guys' takes. I think this was Austin's kind of smack in the face of international competition. CCL, doesn't matter if it's a Haitian club, is not MLS. It's not going to Dallas on a Wednesday. It's facing a Haitian club in the Dominican Republic on a Tuesday. Like it's a complete wild card, different animal, and that's what CCL is. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on Austin, the whole situation right now, and maybe they're getting a little wake up call.
I mean, that one, it was a surprise, obviously, but I kind of expected tonight to be very different, where now it's at half and it's still 0-0.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you have a lot of shots on goal. It doesn't matter if you're not putting them back of the net. So, I expected this game to them, they take that punch and maybe try and punch back, but it has not happened yet. So, they're running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, I went back and forth a little bit with Michael Lahoud on Twitter about Austin's first leg, and pretty much how I summed it up was it was a bad team loss, and I think Austin kind of underestimated their opponent and overestimated their team depth early on in the season. You had to, in this next leg, in my opinion, you had to start Gerisi, you had to start Zardis, you had to start Ethan Finley, and you had to go balls to the wall, let's score goals early. You're 45 minutes in, you need 3 goals to at least, create some type of opportunity to move on, and you haven't done that. So Vaughn, I don't know if you have any Austin takes about CCL right now.
Well, it's more just the organization. To me, they feel like early LAFC in a lot of ways, in the sense of they're going to score a lot of goals, but they also are going to concede a ton of goals by opening themselves up. Mm-hmm. Across 4 games in MLS regular season play and CCL, they got 5 goals for, and I think it's 7 goals against. that's just a lot of goals happening in all these games.
Yeah.
They can go out and they can beat a team 3-0, and they can follow it up by losing 3-0. And so I think that's what they're going to have to settle down as this season goes on, because I think that we're already seeing that if they're having an off day, anybody can beat them and can beat them handedly. So credit to Violette, but like right now, Austin's going to get bounced. Like,
yeah,
I don't see those 3 goals coming.
They're going to be the shock.
Hopefully, when people are listening to this, they're going to be like, "Oh, he missed the
idiot.
7-goal second half."
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully Amro Torek hits a banger like he did for the own goal, but in the other net. Jason, you were saying something?
I almost feel like they came into this season like too confident or expecting it to be too easy.
I can see that. I can see that.
They had St. Louis in the first week. Obviously, some major mistakes ended up with that being not a good result. But it almost feels like they're coming to these games underrating their opponents.
Yeah.
And that's coming back to bite them. So, I mean, it's good that it's happening this early because you can correct it, but obviously not in CCL. I mean, they have 45 minutes to correct it.
Yeah, and they just dug themselves so deep of a hole. Unfortunately, I'm going to sit here and say that listeners and watchers of this podcast on day of drop we're agreeing with the future of what's going to happen. Austin FC is about to get bounced. One team that I don't think is going to get bounced, and I will knock on wood on this one because I don't want to jinx them at this point, is the Philadelphia Union. They are also
saying that at halftime right now.
They're currently. I'm confident. They're currently playing right now. It is the half, similar to the Austin game, but Philadelphia Union went to El Salvador in the first leg against Alianza FC and left with a 0-0 draw in aggregate. It was a very heavily rotated roster. There was a lot of youngsters in that roster. Jim Curtin went with a little bit more of an experienced roster. Obviously, no Andre Blake in the second leg. He did pick up an injury in week 3 action. He shouldn't be out too long, which is good to hear for an MLS perspective and Philadelphia Union fan perspective. Like Jason said earlier, Philadelphia Union are currently leading 1-0, a Damian Lowe goal just before the half. So that's good. You score just before the half. You hopefully knock a little confidence out of the El Salvadorian side, and Philly likes to win at home. So that's why I'm confident that Philly will move on. I'm hoping Thursday I don't look like an idiot. I mean, kind of similar to what we were saying about LAFC, Philly has the depth. I think Philly has the leadership to win multiple competitions, to win a trophy this season, and I feel like CCL could be one of them. I don't know if you guys have any takes on Philly so far through, a leg, and I guess another half of CCL action, but go for it if you do. Philly. There you go, Philly.
Better for me. Watching Philly.
So the other game that is going on tonight, it is not currently happening, but I just want to quickly mention it. Atlas FC out of Liga MX is at home, and they are taking on Olympia FC from Honduras. Olympia won the first leg at home 4-1 over Atlas. I said this on Twitter. I have my Dr. Evil kind of like GIF moment of like this going on. If Liga MX can have 2 or 3 clubs eliminated after this first round, I will be insufferable on Twitter. I will be insufferable on Twitter. So I'm really rooting for Olympia. Score a goal tonight and just get the hell out of this tournament. So that's all I want to say about that game. Tomorrow night we do have the Vancouver Whitecaps. They are on the road. I think they're the only MLS team that is going on the road in the second leg against Real España in Honduras. Vancouver beat up on them, 5-0 win in the first leg up at BC Place. Now they have to travel down south. I mean, can we safely say Vancouver should? Again, things have happened. We've seen Haitian teams beat MLS teams in the Dominican Republic. Vancouver Whitecaps should move on and safely make it to the next round of CCL.
No one's putting 5 past Takaoka.
He didn't travel. He didn't go.
Oh no!
Shit! No, that's the wall. There it is. There's the 5.
All right. Cut that.
I just want to say Ryan Raposo, what a hit, what a goal in that first leg against Real España. So big fan of Raposo there. Hoping Vancouver doesn't make us look like idiots when this drops on Thursday. The next CCL MLS kind of game I want to talk about. Orlando City, they're at home in the second leg against Tigres. They left Mexico with a 0-0 draw because Jason's dude, Pedro Gallese, stood on his damn head.
Keeper of the season. Already, man.
So,
hand him the trophy.
There's an argument for Gallese to be MVP. I will save that for another conversation, another episode, but that's just my opinion right now. Orlando City, do you guys think that they could knock off another Liga MX team? Vaughn, wait, don't shake your head yet. Because, Dr. Evil moment now, that hurt. Do you think they can do it? Vaughn, why no?
No. I think that this is, in Star Wars terms, it's a trap.
Okay.
This is going to be
a great episode,
guys. This is the kind of game where Tigres is going to go in there. Orlando City fans are going to be all hype and believe and have that CCL fever, and it can get real ugly real fast. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I think I've seen this before.
This is a CCL get Tom too excited game, and I end up disappointed at the end of tomorrow night, unless Pedro Gallese stands on his head again and Jason's a very happy man at the end of that game. Correct?
That's what's going to happen. To me, like, they're home and it's 0-0. This is about as good of a spot you wanted to be in. Obviously they would prefer to be leading. But this is not a bad spot to them to find themselves in.
It's a great spot.
Do they have extra time and then penalty kicks?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, then that is what I'm rooting for right now, because Charlotte FC needs that win. They go down to Orlando this week. I need this to be a 0-0 draw.
Oh my God, a win in PKs would make my day. 0-0 win in PKs. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Look, I hope Orlando City does it. I hope they knock out Tigres, because that would mean Atlas and Tigres get the hell out of here. And again, I'm going to be insufferable on Twitter. The last MLS game is tomorrow night. LAFC at home against Alajuelense, the Costa Rican side. LAFC, they won 3-0 first leg. Dennis Bouanga was absolutely fantastic. They rotated their roster. They got dudes healthy and ready for a second leg of CCL. Like I said before, LAFC, they want to win CCL. This is their main priority. Again, similar to Vancouver, I don't think there's much.
Them to win CCL, didn't
I? You did. I think Vaughn did as well. This is
nice, Vaughn.
This is LAFC easy win. I
feel you right, because you were. I don't know.
I think it would.
And anyone picking LAFC to lose?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Good. Bouanga with the hat trick leg.
We just spent like 10 minutes talking about how good they are.
Okay, I just had to toss it out there and see if anyone is going to pick up.
Imagine they. Oh God. I don't know if you heard that, but I knocked.
I did not. Thursday, the last two CCL second legs. Club Leon versus Tauro FC, a Liga MX side versus a Panamanian first division side. Leon is only up 1-0 on aggregate. The game is played in Mexico, so I'm not going to do the spin because I'm not confident in that. So I do think we see Club Leon move on here. And then the last game on Thursday, Pachuca FC versus FC Motagua. Again, another Honduras first division side against Liga MX side. It is 0-0 on aggregate. So.
A pretty bad first leg for Mexican teams.
Do we get the upset, folks, in either of those games?
No. I think there'll be at least one.
Okay, I'm for it. Let's go, Vaughn.
So out of the three, including Orlando, I think there could be two.
If we see two Liga MX sides eliminated, I am ecstatic. If we see three, I might have a heart attack, and maybe Liga MX is going to start getting the CCL fever MLS got.
We're going to need to give Tom sleeping pills to sleep through the game so you can see the results and then watch him without freaking out.
Bro, I'm staying up to watch Olympia beat the shit out of Atlas FC tonight, okay? Are you kidding me? Let's go. The last thing that I want to talk about, and it's the same way I think we've ended every single episode so far this season, is looking ahead to week 4. I want you guys to pick a game that you're excited about. Tell me why you're excited. If I'm looking at both your eyes to see who looks more confident in saying that they have a game ready. Jason.
Yeah, I mean, it's Seattle LAFC. That game is probably like the marquee game for the week. So you have to just talk about it a little bit. Obviously, LAFC coming off CCL action midweek. Can they do it again? Are they going to have an 8-goal week?
I mean, let's see. They could. I mean, Seattle's pretty good, but I mean, I think that's the marquee.
I mean, then it's like we're starting to have a conversation where LAFC is just on another level.
LAFC is like, Club World Cup quality at that point. Vaughn, what
Step away, Real Madrid.
Yeah. Vaughn, what is the game that you're looking forward to?
I've done a full turnaround. St. Louis City hosting San Jose and going for expansion team history.
Okay.
Having that at home, doing it against another good team like San Jose. Yeah. We said, I want to like them. I want them to do well. I want to put them into a playoff spot. They're playing at a playoff level. And so this is going to be another challenge from St. Louis City. And if they go out there and get another result, another win, it's going to be another statement that they've arrived. And I think that the weight of that game is pretty substantial.
In wrestling terms, Vaughn's going full heel. He's going full heel on this, and he's rooting for St. Louis. So, well, you guys took my top 2 games I was excited about.
There's a third game that's pretty good.
Is there? I mean, I put 2 more down. I don't know if I'm actually confident in them now, but I'm gonna go New England hosting Nashville.
That's the one I was thinking.
Okay. New England, formerly undefeated. I still think they're a very good team. I think going cross country to LAFC, again, 4-0, that's a major loss. But I think they're at home. You kind of try to bounce back from a rough loss. Nashville SC, they've looked very good to start the season, and Hani Mukhtar hasn't even started. Expect him maybe to start sometime, some week soon. And I think this has the making for a very good Eastern Conference matchup. One that we could potentially see in the MLS Cup playoffs as well. So, fellas, that's it. That's all I got. I think
Nashville has not conceded this season yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's Gary Smith ball. That's Gary ball, baby.
Quietly, guys, always there.
You have anything else that you want to say before we wrap things up?
No. Good.
Okay. Well, Austin FC did score a goal. I do have to say that. So Jerisi, he did his job as, top talent on this team, and he scored a goal. Now you got to find 2 more, Austin. Let's see if it happens.
Man, I was so high on Austin this season.
Ladies, if you watch this to the end, thank you. If you listen to this to the end, thank you. We will talk with you guys next week.